Welcome to another episode of You Left Shit Out. I'm your host, Compton J. Apologies for starting late. A little chaotic today. That's why the late start. But I feel like we have some very important topic to talk about, which is the petrodollar. I'm trying to get the video queued up here. So, in researching and just watching content for this particular episode or this stream, the petrodollar was interesting to me. So I put up a poll and I asked the people on Twitter, hey, what would you like to hear? And here is the results of that poll. And by the way, if you're watching now, please like the stream. If you've been watching us, please subscribe to the channel. Okay, here. 1 second. Okay. Okay, here it goes. Right. So here is the poll I wanted to show everybody. I guess I got to click. So since this one, I'll click that. So here are the results of the poll and the reason why, the topics. I thought it was a good idea to see what do people want to hear the network talk about today. And the petrodollar is collapsing. It's winning by a lot, 53%. We'll touch on the Brianna Joy Gray story. So that was second. And then the other ones we can leave for another day. So we'll just touch upon the top two picks from all of you. What is that? 179 people, 180 people voted for that poll. So that is the reason for the selection of the topics. I'll do this every now and then. Sometimes it's just stuff that I want to talk about. Like yesterday, I just stumbled on that video. I know I was way behind everybody else, but stumbled upon those videos from Sam Seder and I could not stop myself from doing a stream on it. So, again, we're trying to reach 15,000 subscribers by April 1st. So we have, 7 days, like a week. And I think we need like 400. It's still possible. So please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And if you've subscribed before, double check, because a lot of people has been unsubscribed mysteriously. So, all right. So now let's get into one of the videos. Since I showed you the poll, I think we're going to start with, let's start with Jimmy Dore's video, because I think it's one of the shorter ones we're going to cover. And then some of the videos are longer, where we're getting more of an explanation and a deep dive into the topic. So that is it coming up? Oh, it's a commercial. As always, it's a commercial. Okay, so it's over. All right, let's share this. Let's share and let's stop sharing that one and share a new screen. This one. All right, so it's a couple of minutes where he kind of covers some news articles. So what I thought would be interesting was to get, a leftist perspective on the same topic. Then I get a conservative perspective on the same topic, which is the Tucker Carlson video. So I'm going to be playing a Tucker Carlson video, after this and discussing his take. And then an international take, and that's where Richard Medhurst will come in. So that's the reason for the three views from those three particular people. And let's start with Jimmy.
So I've always told you about the petrodollar. That's what really runs our foreign policy, and that's why we do what Saudi Arabia wants when we go bomb people like in Yemen and stuff like that. And also, so guess what? So they're gonna get the petrodollar. Once we went off the gold standard, So Nixon takes us off the gold standard. So now what do we got to back up our money? We get a deal with Saudi Arabia that Saudi Arabia will make anybody who tries to buy oil from them, they would have to use American dollars to buy oil from them. And why would Saudi Arabia agree to that? Because
So what I like to do with all my videos is kind of take it from a beginner's point of view. I want to assume some of my audience don't know a lot of the story, so I want to, take it from an elementary level. There will be another video that kind of talks about how the whole petrodollar was created by Nixon. We'll get into that, but that's what Jimmy is talking about right here, where the deal with the Saudis to take payment for their oil in U.S. dollars. So that's what he's talking about.
Because we then promised Saudi Arabia to use our military anywhere they wanted. And that's why we're helping commit a genocide.
So let me rewind that because I was in the middle of his explanation. I want you to hear the whole thing.
That Saudi Arabia will make anybody who tries to buy oil from them, they would have to use American dollars to buy oil from them. And why would Saudi Arabia agree to that? Because we then promised Saudi Arabia to use our military anywhere they wanted. And that's why we're helping commit a genocide in Yemen.
And they can chop up anyone who annoys the head guy.
That's right.
With impunity.
Right. So the head guy chopped up that Jamal Khashoggi, the Washington Post reporter, and we looked the other way. That's something they say Putin does, like Hitler. But no, the guy we're in bed with, the head of Saudi Arabia right now, the prince, he did that. We don't care. So guess what's happening now? So Joe Biden is so poorly mismanaging this situation that he might collapse the dollar and our economy forever. And that's not hyperbole because it's based on the petrodollar. So you should start buying Bitcoin and gold. But what do I know? Nothing. China is days away from killing the petrodollar. This is from the International Man. For decades, the U.S. has been able to exclude virtually any country it wants from international trade. Right now, if one country wants to trade with another, it basically needs U.S. permission first.
I want to go back to that slide because this is important to the U.S.'s ability to be such an imperialist power and the world sort of go along with it. The natural resources by far that every country needs, by far, like if you all the trade, you add that up, it still dwarfs the trade of oil. So in that the world had to buy oil from Saudi Arabia in US dollars that kind of artificially propped up the US dollar, and it kind of also made other countries look the other way from what Saudi Arabia is doing and for what the US is doing.
Trade. Right now, if one country wants to trade with another, it basically needs U.S. permission first. That's because for a short while longer, the United States dollar is the world's most important currency. The United States Navy also dominates the world's oceans, controlling most major shipping lanes. But China is building a new international system. Eventually,
this part is really key, and it's a part that it's left out of a lot of discussions. A lot of people, what does the Navy do? The Navy does this type of thing. Because you always hear about, Army going here, Marines going here. The Navy is patrolling the seas. And where that patrol is key in your dominance of the world. So let's continue.
Eventually, it will let China and its trading partners totally bypass the United States. Most investors know that oil is the largest and most strategic commodity market in the world. It dwarfs all the other major commodities markets combined. Every country needs oil, and for a short while longer, they need U.S. dollars to buy it. That's a very compelling reason to hold large dollar reserves. So if you want to buy oil, you got to go get a shit ton of American dollars. And so they're saying that lots of countries keep American dollars at reserve, and this props up the American dollar. This is the essence of the petrodollar system, which has underpinned the U.S. dollar since the early 1970s. Right now, if Italy wants to buy oil from Kuwait, it has to purchase U.S. dollars on the foreign exchange market to pay for the oil first. This creates a huge artificial market for U.S. dollars.
And it's another video that's going to get into this. So it's like the U.S., even the stock market is kind of, you can say the same sort of critique. We're sitting on such a house of cards that any one of these sort of imperialist entrenched norms could collapse this empire, but it also is going to affect all of us. If you think inflation is high now, you wait. So let's see what else he got to say, and then we're going to move on. I think that's most of the Jimmy Dore part, but let's see what else he has here.
In part, this is what separates the United States dollar from the purely local currency, like the Mexican peso. The dollar is just a middleman, but it's used in countless transactions amounting to trillions of dollars that have nothing to do with the United States products or services.
Back when I used to travel a lot internationally, I never understood this detail of why other countries took American currency. Because I would have their currency, but I could also go, oh, I have this US dollar, and they would still take it. So, but now this, learning all of this sort of thing in the last several months, now I understand why.
Jesus Christ. Even our money is a consultant.
Yeah, right?
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Since the oil market is so enormous, it acts as a benchmark for international trade. If foreign countries are already using dollars for oil, it's just easier to use dollars for other international trade too. So you get that. So they have to go get beefed up on American dollars so they can buy oil. So they just start using that for everything. In addition to nearly all oil sales, the United States dollar is used for about 80% of all international transactions.
80% of all international transactions. If that goes down to 70%, if that goes down to 60%, we would be feeling that. And this is the propping up of the US dollar is partly why, I can't remember which video, I think Richard says it in his video, is partly why we're able to live so good on this continent. It's because of this reason, the propping up of the dollar. So let's continue. Where's that tab? Okay.
The United States dollar is used for 80% of all international transactions. That's good for us. It's soon coming to an end, which will be catastrophic for us. This gives the United States unmatched geopolitical leverage. The United States can sanction or exclude virtually any country from the U.S. dollar-based financial system
This is the whole reason why sanctions work. Because you ever think like, why wouldn't they just go over here? Not because of allies. It's because of 80% of all international transactions is used through or purchased through the U.S. dollar. You see the effect of what the United States can do? But that's ending.
At the flip of a switch. By extension, it can also cut off any country from the vast majority of international trade. The petrodollar system is why people and businesses everywhere in the world take United States dollars. Other countries have had little choice about it until now. The death of the petrodollar, Pepe Escobar, the ultimate game changer, and it came much sooner than we all thought. Saudi Arabia is considering, are you ready for this? Accepting yen. Is that how you say it?
No, yuan.
Yuan, you say it yuan?
Yeah, I think it's yuan, yeah.
Yuan and not U.S. dollars. See what the pronunciation is.
Be yuan.
and not U.S. dollars for selling oil to China. Translation, China told them this is the new groove. Fasten your seatbelts.
All right, and there goes an ad coming up. So I'll stop it there. Perfect point to stop it there. I mean, it's good that the dominance, the hegemony of the United States is coming to an end. I can't remember Alfred. I forget his last name, but he's considered an expert in this area. Anyway, I'll try to find a video before I speak on that particular one. Let's bring up now. I want to bring up actually. I think it's this one. It's called Epic Economists. Now they do use a little bit of Hollywood. They got a Hollywood voiceover artist. It sounds like. But the information is still the information. So I'm going to bring that up right now after this ad. All right, after the ad there. All right, so let's pause that there. Let me share this. This kind of gives a little bit of a more detailed breakdown of what's happening. And like I said, there it is a little Hollywood-esque in their production. Where is it at? Is it this one? Is it this one? Is it this one? This one. All right, so here we go.
As more and more turbulence and panic spreads across the planet, it gets increasingly harder to keep track of what is truly going on behind the covers. However, one silent crisis is threatening to change everything in the United States. The US dollar may be about to lose its status as the global reserve currency at a time our monetary system is already cracking and inflation is debasing the value of our money. A lot is at stake right now, and if the dollar loses its hegemony on global trade, the US economy is gonna be in deep trouble.
So hegemony, it's a funny word. It's a word that a lot of people don't like to pronounce, but it's dominance. It's a softer way of using the word dominance. So if the United States Petrodollar loses its dominance, that's what this whole house of cards is built on. Is this deal with Saudi Arabia to create with the creation of the Petrodollar? How we're all able to live such a higher lifestyle compared to a lot of other countries is because of this. And this further explains a little more. We'll listen to a couple of more minutes here.
There's a lot to cover in this video, so before entering today's discussion, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and please subscribe to our channel to keep updated with our latest notifications. Recent negotiations between China and Saudi Arabia are a major indication that the US dollar is on its way out as the global reserve currency. Saudi Arabia is now actively engaging in negotiations with the Chinese government to price oil sales to China in yuan instead of using the petrodollar. The fact that two commodity-rich countries are conducting business and about to close a billionaire deal without using the petrodollar means trouble for America's dominance as the global economic hegemon. For the past 40 years, the currency has been one of the core staples and an anchor that's helped support the US dollar's reserve status. The entire global financial system used to be based on the petrodollar, with oil producers selling their product to America and the rest of the world only in dollars, which producers could then recycle the proceeds in dollar-denominated assets. And every time they invested in dollar-denominated markets, they consequently propped up the US dollar as the world reserve currency.
You see the house of cards that this whole system is fucking built on here. And we're the ones that's gonna receive all the brunt of all the results of the house of cards collapsing. not the ruling class. They built up their money. They built that up. They have homes internationally. They got all kind of stuff. So let's now go to the Richard Medhurst video, because I think I saved his for last because it sums it up maybe the best. Where is it? Actually, it's not last. It's the Tucker Carlson one. That'll be the last one. But let's listen to Richard give his breakdown in the beginning of his video. It's a pretty good breakdown of the history and everything. So let's get past the commercial and let's put Richard up on the screen here. So if you haven't listened to Richard's complete breakdown, I would suggest watching his entire video. Does a pretty good job on the topic titled "Death of the Petro Dollar." And it's like 2 minutes of his 2-3 minutes of his video where he breaks it down what's happening.
The beginning of the end? I don't know. But the petrodollar is not looking that good right now. Here's a breaking news. This is from the Wall Street Journal. Look at what the headline says. The headline reads, Saudi Arabia considers accepting yuan, the Chinese yuan, instead of dollars for Chinese oil sales. Talks between Riyadh and Beijing have accelerated as the Saudi unhappiness grows with Washington. So this is extraordinary. This is very significant. And again, for some of you, this might be very obvious why this matters. And of course, this is related to Ukraine. But I'm going to explain it anyway. I'm going to lay down the basics so there's no illusions as to what's going on. So at the end of World War II, towards the end of World War II, there was a meeting famously known as Bretton Woods, right? And they decided on creating the IMF, and more importantly, they pegged the US dollar to the gold standard, right? So the US dollar became the most important currency on the planet, right? It increased US hegemony and monetary hegemony. It established US monetary hegemony because right now, today in 2022, about 50% of all transactions in the globe are conducted in US dollars. And of course, that lasted for a couple of decades, Bretton Woods. And then in the 70s, Nixon, the former US president, he took the US dollar off the gold standard. And then he made a deal with the Saudis and he created de facto what is known as the Petro Dollar. Okay. What does that mean? It means the US dollar would be backed by oil, by Saudi Arabian oil. So the Saudis, who are the world's largest oil exporter at the time, and now they're second behind the US, although I should say producer because the US is not a net exporter. But in any case, Saudi Arabia, being a major oil exporter, would only sell oil in US dollars. So the fact that you could only buy oil in US dollars just gave the US dollar that value, right? And so based off of that, the United States has accumulated outrageous debt, right? Because they say, we're good for it. We're good for it. Look, we're the United States. We got dollars, baby. And it's backed by oil. And before it was backed by gold, right? But now it's oil, black gold. And so this is a big shock because the deal was the Saudis only sell oil in US dollars, and in exchange, the US will provide security for them. Security, right? That includes, of course, weapon sales to murder people in Yemen, but let's not go too much into the details. So this report is quite shocking because right now the price of oil has shot up. I think just the other day it was $135 a barrel. And of course, this is the highest it's been since July 2008, which is outrageous. That was during the crash. So
just think about what's happening lately. What sort of stories have you heard? And because this is all sort of intertwined. So we're going to bring in the topic of, United States hegemony. What was I just? Oh, the United States hegemony. Hang on a second.
The price of oil is very high right now, and why is it high? It's because Ukraine, the war in Ukraine, has led the United States to sanction Russian energy.
Oh, this is what I was going to say. Now, how should I say this? If the U.S. dollar is backed by oil, and we've been racking up debt, like Richard's right, like we've been racking up debt under the whole understanding with the world's understanding that, listen, listen, we are the gold standard. Our dollar is backed by oil, the oil that the whole planet needs. That is key in understanding sort of this part of the United States hegemony. So let's listen some more, and then I'll go into some more because he's going to further explain a little bit more. Let's listen, and then
so
I'll
the United
go to
States, which receives about 3% of its oil imports from Russia, has forsworn importing anything from Russia. And of course, in Europe, at the same time, we saw how Biden was standing next to Olaf Scholz, the German chancellor, and they got Nord Stream 2 canceled. So now there's a crisis because, I mean, let's be honest with each other, the price of oil was already going up, right? This predates the war in Ukraine, and a lot of people seem to forget that. But of course, this made it worse. We can't deny that. We looked at the graphs together. I mean, the fuel crisis, the energy crisis that was already there during the last months is one thing. But this, of course, when you start sanctioning a major oil exporter like Russia, and
this is what I was going to say. Another part. What has been happening lately, where you're going to see the United States, the grip, the dominance that the United States is happening. Russia, Ukraine. That's not going well for the United States. They run to Venezuela asking for oil. I forget the other country they run to, who they were sanctioning, and now they went to them asking for oil. They went to Saudi Arabia. So reportedly, MBS doesn't even take his call. Then we have news reports that they're considering taking payment for oil in the Chinese yuan. These are all sort of connected stories, all kind of intersecting what I said before, which is the United States dominance, United States hegemony is coming to an end. And I'm going to find the video of the guy who explains it better. I forget his name is Alfred something. I'm sure some of you may know who I'm speaking of, but I'll bring him up in just a second. Venezuela, yes, was the other place they went to. Let me see if somebody puts it in there. Venezuela, I forget the other country, but yes, thank you for helping me out there. So let's listen to some more, and then we'll get to Tucker Carlson's take, and then we'll talk a little more in depth about the topic.
And obviously you're going to start playing with prices there, especially when the U.S. is doing it. It's not, Mongolia or Syria that's doing it. Although I think that's a bit unfair to compare Syria's geopolitical stature to Mongolia. But you get the idea. The U.S. is the world's hegemon.
But this is actually the question I asked. Who did I ask? Was it? It might have been Dr. Stein, Jill Stein, where I said, what United States global dominance coming to an end literally by the end of this decade. So within the next 8 years, the United States is not going to be the only dominant global superpower, and they're likely not to be the top superpower. All leftists might be saying, yes, that's for us. Like we love that, but understand what's going to be happening to American citizens. We're going to start to get a taste of what's happening in other countries. That's what we're going to start to get a taste of. And this is the question I asked Dr. Stein. Do you think this happening, the pain that the United States is about to feel, can this be what precipitates an actual revolution? And I said this maybe a year ago. It's like it's not going to be a revolution until liberals start to feel the pain, until the upper class start to feel pain when their bank accounts are starting to be dwindled down because everything is a lot more. When they're falling behind on things, that's when they're going to wake up and say, okay, it's time to do something about that. So just keep that front of mind, that this could be the results of U.S. The Petro Dollar not necessarily collapsing, but the petrodollar not being what it was, the dominant figure that it was, and the results of that, it could spin into a what jumpstarts a revolution. I think that could be it. It could be the thing that I've been talking about for the last 12, 16 months. All right, so let's now go to this last video on this topic before that goes wrong.
Before you go
Go
on,
ahead.
I wanted to touch on with something with that. I know, man, you was listening to a lot of cricket out when we was out there, but it was a line that he had said about the middle class. He said the upper class hit the middle class with the memory wipers, so they don't remember they like us. If they don't see us as human beings, they don't give a fuck if our enemy snipe us. So now we can see, black people getting their head busted open by the police. Middle class said nothing. We can see, you know what I'm saying, the poor class is going through these things with trying to build unions, and we're still getting shitted on. They still say nothing. They have to feel the pain that we are going through in order to pull them in order to pull them to even say the word revolutionary, let alone think about having one. So yes, I totally feel like they need to feel this pain that we are going through, because we are 10 steps ahead of them right now. But once they start losing their homes, once they start being discriminated against, then they're gonna feel it, and they're gonna be like, oh, this is what they mean by death to America. Yeah, this is what we mean.
And then but this could be, or it should be, I'm not gonna say could be, it should be the thing, Rome, that jumpstarts the real revolution, like where it gets, I'm not gonna say the real revolution, it should put the revolution in high gear, because the revolution has started. Because the revolution of information has started. That's the phase we're in now. Just people trying to gain the right information, people trying to educate themselves, educate their community. So we're in the beginning stages of it, but this is about to be accelerated. Let me put the Tucker Carlson video up, Rome, and we can comment on it. He talks about the same thing and actually what's going to happen, like kind of like what you're talking about here. Where is it? This one. Yeah, okay. It says, the title of his video, "The Petrodollar Will Collapse." This is Tucker Carlson. Let's see what say he on this topic.
Well, it turns out one of the biggest stories of the decade dropped this morning. You may not even be aware of it. The Wall Street Journal reported that Saudi Arabia is considering accepting Chinese currency rather than U.S. dollars for its oil field in China. Now, why is that a big deal? Seems like a little financial story. Well, it would spell the end of the petrodollar. The petrodollar is one of the keys to the United States' wealth. Saudi Arabia has traded oil exclusively in U.S. dollars for nearly half a century, and that is one of the key reasons the United States has the highest living standard of any big country in the world, despite the fact that our manufacturing...
This is the part I'm talking about, Rome. This is why we have the highest living standard. Yeah. Is because of this. And if this collapse, this is why I'm saying our living standard is going to come down, and that's what's going to wake people up. Like the people who are already at the bottom, they're like, welcome. They're like, glad to see you here. You know what I'm saying? But the people who haven't been triggered yet to say, the ones that are still saying no, Democrats, those people, once they start to feel it, that's when things are gonna change.
They're gonna definitely feel it and see it. You know what I'm saying? Once I was just explaining this to my girl, we had a conversation about the petrodollar falling and the cause and effects that it's gonna have on your local day-to-day stuff. Like, we're used to paying $5 for bread, but I'm like, can you imagine paying $10? We are used to paying $6 a gallon for gas, but are you used to paying 15 to 20? Now, these things, I was just explaining, I believe yesterday on the show, like how I was explaining to people who's apolitical. I was like, you remember how we used to treat the Canadian quarter? Now, can you imagine your quarter being treated like that on American soil? All right, well, this is where we are headed.
Yeah, and like I said, the United States dominance coming to an end is a good thing, but we all have to understand we're gonna reap all the fucking consequences of this, all this bullshit. Basically, a house of cards that they built that's falling apart now. So we're gonna reap the consequences. Let's let Tucker kind of break it down a little more. I'm gonna rewind it back so you can hear that last line, everybody.
Keys to the United States' wealth. Saudi Arabia has traded oil exclusively in US dollars for nearly half a century, and that is one of the key reasons the United States has the highest living standard of any big country in the world, despite the fact that our manufacturing sector long ago collapsed. You may have wondered how that worked. Why are we still so rich?
Yeah, because you see the point. I wanted him to hear to say that whole sentence. Despite the fact that we don't have manufacturing, who has all the manufacturing? Rome, China.
Yes. And a more stable income.
Right. So because we was like capitalists, I'm not going to say we, because capitalists like, oh, our shit is backed by this. Let's ship all our manufacturing out of here.
Yep.
But you shipping manufacturing, that gives wealth to your physical place where you live because you are producing things that people are going to want to buy. But if you don't produce nothing, guess what happens? If you don't produce nothing, then you're at the prices of everybody else that's selling shit. Yeah. This is gonna be terrible. This is gonna be terrible. Like, people don't understand. This shit's gonna be terrible, man.
American people was explaining that this would happen when we went into the NAFTA deal. When we were sending out manufacturing jobs, when we were sending jobs out to China, sending jobs out to Mexico and whatever. Not saying that.
I think Ross Perot was saying it. Yeah. I think Ross Perot was saying it. Yeah. It's like this is going to be a disaster. Go ahead, Ron.
But this is what happens when you have capitalists at the top selling off your country piece by piece. Yep. You know, you're gonna feel this thing, whether it's tomorrow or a couple of years down the line. They made their money. They're gone. They probably don't even live in America no more.
Exactly.
But we're gonna feel that shit, and we have been calling this out. Even conservatives. This is why Trump won in the Midwest, because he came out against the NAFTA deal. He came out against sending manufacturer jobs to China and Mexico, because they knew that this would happen. They knew that sooner or later we're gonna go through a recession, a depression, or it's gonna be some type of disease that comes that's gonna set us back. And about time we look up, we're going to be pushed all the way back or too far to even catch up with the other countries like we are with the coronavirus right now.
That's a great point, that we fall so far behind. It's literally Rome where everything is going to flip. What we going to be called, and I hate this term because we developed it as a racist term, but we'll be the third world country here. Yeah. So like I said earlier, like we're going to start to feel what other countries have been feeling for decades.
We're gonna actually feel how America really is. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see it.
That's a great point.
For what it really is, instead of like what we're doing is we just spray painting. I mean, perfuming a piece of shit and calling it a flower and sticking it in people's faces. Yes, you guys have mansions, you guys have skyscrapers, you guys have this and that, but you don't have housing, you don't have clean water, you don't have free water. Your electric grids are privatized. This is a third world country, but with these people dollar actually dying in real time, we're gonna see how this shit actually goes. And with everything damn near being privatized and we can't put any money into it,
exactly,
it's gonna go down. I mean, from infrastructure to jobs, prices, anything going up is your prices. Everything else is going the fuck down. They're not taking care of that road because they don't have to. They're not taking care of the dam because they don't have to. And we've seen this happen, I believe, in Texas when the dam had a collapse because it was privatized. They couldn't put any more money into it. See,
in the electric grid, the whole power system in Texas, for example, is all privatized. So when this happens, what they charge whatever the fuck they want to charge. And what are you going to do? What are you going to do for energy? Like, they've created this system and now we're about to eat shit. Like, we're about to eat shit here because of these fucking bastards. I guess I can say that about them.
Greedy motherfuckers, man.
Yes, exactly. So let's listen to more of what Carlson Tucker breaks down here.
Well, this is how. Petrodollars allow our government, in short, to spend money that we don't have. And that money pays for an awful lot of what we have. Healthcare, retirements, the military. We could go on. Everything.
Yeah, I love how you put the military. You should have put the military first, motherfucker. That takes all the money. Don't you trying to healthcare? Don't throw no fucking health. Throw some fucking healthcare in there. What you talking about, nigga? That's the one thing that shouldn't have a limit on your health. Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. But let's go.
Essentially. As economist Gal Luff put it in an interview with the Wall Street Journal today, quote, the oil market, and by extension, the entire global commodities market, is the insurance policy of the status of the dollar as the reserve currency. If that block is taken out of the wall will begin to collapse. What's the wall? Well, it's the U.S. economy. Not a small story, maybe even a bigger story than the invasion of Ukraine. Weird that we're not talking about it. Meanwhile, at the exact same moment that happened, there's this. The Chinese government has decided to wound our already teetering economy once again by using the pretext of COVID. So the Chinese have ordered lockdowns in factory towns.
What? I'm gonna play this, but I just find it funny. He's throwing in some China propaganda here in order. But let's listen just to see where he takes this, Rome. But let's see what he says here.
Towns that make Toyotas, Volkswagen, circuit boards, air conditioning units, batteries, televisions, and yes, iPhones. Now, why are they doing this? Well, you're supposed to believe it's all about the coronavirus, which is mysteriously resurged in China in the middle of a war in which China is siding with the country that we are against, Russia. Can that really be true? Hard to believe. Is it really just the virus that's causing this behavior? Yes, say the propagandists at the Washington Post. It definitely is. It's definitely not a trade war brought on by the Biden administration's incompetence in international affairs. We're not suffering for the fact they don't know what they're doing. No, it's just a virus. A pundit called Catherine Rampell, for example, told us with a straight face that, quote, daily COVID cases in China have reached numbers not publicly reported since 2020. Thanks partly to low vaccination rates for the elderly in China, plus the relative ineffectiveness of Chinese-made coronavirus vaccines.
All right, I let it go long enough. I thought he would come back, loop back to the to the other story, but he did not. So, but it's still the point. So Rome, I played a leftist or progressive, whatever you want to call Jimmy Dore, talking about the petrodollar is about to collapse. I played Tucker Carlson, a conservative, saying the same thing. This shit is about to hit the fan. I played International Take, Richard Medhurst, saying this shit is about to hit the fan. If you got everybody saying the same shit,
it gotta be some truth.
This shit is about to happen. I just don't. So Rome, not only that's happening, you got the ice glacier up in North Pole, or I forget where where the thing that's keeping the ice glacier in place is melting. It's gonna melt in like the next couple of years. Sea rise level can go up a foot, 2 feet. That's catastrophic.
Yeah.
For the coastal cities.
Yeah.
And who lives in the coastal
the
cities?
people that they don't give a fuck about.
No, black and brown people live in those who live in LA, who live in San Diego, who live in, you know what I'm saying, who lives in these, Miami, who lives in Florida, all these places. So we're gonna feel it. Let's see what this person says here. If CNN doesn't report it, CJ, I don't believe it. That's funny. That's funny. I just saw CNN, so I threw that up there. And everybody, I'm gonna go through the comments. I see a lot of comments. I was just kind of focused on this, but I did find one guy. Oh, his name is Alfred McCoy. This guy, Alfred McCoy, breaks down like the shit that's about to happen here, right? And he breaks it down more in a historical sense, and it gives you, where is he at? And it gives you, I'm gonna put this on the screen right now. He gives shit. It already started playing. One second here. He talks about why the Navy is important in global dominance, which is something it wasn't this video where I learned this, but it was another video I was watching of his about the Navy and because it's like, why you don't really hear about the Navy in combat in wars, and we in a lot of wars. Why is that? It's because the Navy is used to man and the seas.
Yep.
And that's very important in this global domination. Actually, let me just take his down. Let me take that down. I'll just put up Alfred's video in this explanation. And because I want our community to understand what the fuck is about to happen here. And I want us to prepare
like
for this.
Sandra Jones saying local currencies is needed. Yes, but look, y'all, I'm sorry. Stop being lazy. You can't go with a digital coin right now if we don't even control. Look, we don't even have net neutrality to keep certain people in check. You know what I'm saying? What's going to happen if they was to do a local blackout in certain communities that's getting rich off of Bitcoin, especially if it's poor communities? You think they don't have control over that? Didn't we just seen this happen with Robinhood? We have to go to the fucking root. We have to go back to the ground. If you want your currency to actually mean something in your community, it actually have to be something that we can trade between each other at all fucking times. And maybe when we start to get control of our electric grids, once we publicize them, once we nationalize once we nationalize all our things that we should have in place, then we can go with a digital currency. But it isn't safe right now. And plus, you guys are leaving out the homeless population once again. Once again, you guys are leaving out the homeless population. Think about it. If we was to get rid of, it's bad enough that the petrodollar is falling, but if we was to get rid of currency altogether and it just went digital, how in the fuck are poor people going to eat and survive?
They don't care about them. It's literally building a structure for people like them to die. Rome. It's to eliminate, get by. You can't survive. Get something digital. It's over.
It's all about the future. The future. No. Fuck your future. Fuck your future. We need it today and to make sure we have it tomorrow to make sure in order to have a fucking future. You guys are skipping so many fucking parts. You guys are skipping so many fucking parts of what it actually means to make a currency. And now look, Americans have got their hands on cryptocurrency because they see the petrodollar is falling. So now they're trying to put their money into what you guys have created. They took it over. So what are you guys going to do, you cryptocurrency motherfuckers? There's only like a couple of people that own most of that shit anyway. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with the petrodollar. God damn. Think about it. Go back and redraw your motherfucking thing, your fucking blueprints, because you left out a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, that's something that's not brought up in conversation a lot when we're talking about all this digital currency. Like, what about all the unhoused people? And I'm just thinking, like, hey, that's hundreds of people. We were down there on Skid Row, but this part here, this is the part where I wanted. This guy kind of breaks down how global dominance works here. So, there will be a couple of snippets here. I'll play for him.
Flag of China and the United States. To talk more about the U.S.-China relations, we're joined by Alfred McCoy, professor of history at University of Wisconsin-Madison. His latest book is out today, To Govern the Globe, World Orders and Catastrophic Change. McCoy writes, while Washington was spilling its blood and treasure into desert sands, Beijing had been investing much of its accumulated trade surplus in the integration of the world island of Africa, Asia, and Europe into an economic powerhouse. Alfred McCoy, welcome back to Democracy Now! So if you can talk about this summit, you wouldn't quite understand the kind of tension that is between the United States and China right now, the world's two largest economies. But if you can talk about the significance of this and then how close we are to a Cold War or hot war with China.
The key issue in terms of immediate conflict between Washington and Beijing is Taiwan. As you said earlier, Amy, President Xi of China said that the United
So almost everything that the United States is doing, is trying to do that is involving China is all about stopping them becoming the dominant hegemony.
Yeah, of course.
That's That's what this is about. Go ahead, Roman. Yeah.
China has played this so smart. Like they ain't got to fire one bullet at America to bring us down. We shot ourselves in the foot,
Exactly,
and an ankle, the fucking knee. We already crippled ourselves multiple times, especially with these negotiation skills that we see that our people have. Oh, you don't give me what I want? Sanctions. Like that's not going to happen forever.
Right. That's not going to work no more, especially with this change in the petrodollar. The sanctions will be a lot weaker.
The United States was playing with fire over Taiwan. By way of background, President Xi has committed himself within China.
Okay, I'm going to get to the hegemony part here.
China has the world's most...
This is the part here.
...war game to positions over Taiwan, which if they're fully pursued, will lead to conflict. And this is another problem for the United States. The New York Times has reported that the Pentagon has war gamed a war over Taiwan between the...
Listen to this shit. The Pentagon has war gamed, meaning like if we go to war, they war game this 18 times. Find out how many times we win here.
The United States and China. And in the last 18 of these war games, the United States has lost 18 times. China has the world's most sophisticated anti-ballistic missiles, the most sophisticated missile defense. Taiwan is extremely close to China. And if the United States moved aircraft carriers into the Taiwan Straits, like we did in the last conflict back in the 1990s, China could destroy those aircraft carriers. It could sink those aircraft carriers. So the United States, in the immediate future, is faced with the possibility of fighting a war over Taiwan. And if that conflict emerged, the United States would have to either retreat in defeat and see Taiwan conquered, or the United States would have to go to war and fight a war that it would probably lose. And that's one issue, but there's also a deeper geopolitical struggle going on.
This part.
Over the past 5 centuries,
this part is
every
important.
world hegemon has done one thing the same way. Every world hegemon, from Portugal to Holland to Britain to the United States, and now China, has dominated the Eurasian landmass, which today is home to 70% of the world's population and productivity.
Damn.
And with the $4 trillion that China made by 2014, as a result of its open trade with the United States, China's invested $1.2 trillion in this massive infrastructure, laying down a steel grid of rail, road, and gas pipeline, integrating the vast Eurasian landmass into a single market in which...
We paid for all of this, Rome.
Man.
We paid for this because our manufacturing is over there. China has played this shit. Go ahead, Ron. I'll let you go first.
China bad motherfuckers, boy. You see how they playing us, bro? But again, this is what happens when lobbyists sell off your country piece by piece. China didn't ask for it. We literally was like, please take it. And they got it for a little bit of nothing. They got it for a little bit of nothing, and now look. Goddamn.
Yes. So China, was very poor, built the country back up, lifted out of poverty, not abject poverty, not all poverty, but abject meaning very, very like extreme poverty, right off of our dollar. The manufacturing dollar, all the purchasing power, the trillions of dollars that they've invested in this infrastructure of trade, turning the Euro-Asian mass into a single market of trade they would be dominant for so long if they were able to do that. But let's listen to
longer than they was in poverty. Way longer.
Say again?
They would be dominant longer than their country was in poverty.
Yes, at that, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Trade and power, as if by natural law, is going to flow towards Beijing. China is also working to break the U.S. geopolitical hold over the Eurasian landmass. During the Cold War, we controlled what are known as the axial ends of Eurasia through the NATO alliance in Western Europe and 4 bilateral treaties with mutual defense treaties with Japan, South Korea, Philippines, and Australia. And from these 2 axial positions, we ringed Eurasia with bands of steel, aircraft carriers, jets, fighter bombers to dominate Eurasia. And now China is punching through those circles of steel, breaking the US geopolitical grip over Eurasia, and through the Belt and Road Initiative, consolidating its control. Moreover, China has built 40 ports ringing the Eurasian landmass and the coast of Africa. So the combination of this geopolitical circling of the coastlines of Eurasia, combined with this massive grid of infrastructure across the continent, is placing China in control where it is going to dominate the Eurasian landmass. And that is the key to geopolitical power, has been for the last 5 centuries and will likely be for the rest of this century as well.
And see, this is what I've been saying about this infrastructure that China have been building. Like, this is people think China is building these infrastructures in poor countries and forgiving debt to have some type of thing over them. Like, no. They're doing it to prepare for war. This is a tactic, right? Okay, let's say China building, they also got something going on with Cuba. They got something going on with West Africa. They got something going on with a lot of countries that we don't like when we did regime changes very close to. So say if America was to come in these countries and try that shit, who's going to step in? China has to step in because this is their money. This is their, like, so now they're setting up booby traps and mouse traps for America to snoop around and get caught in. You bomb China's infrastructure, you at war with China. Whether you in West Africa, South Africa, Cuba, they're setting up mouse traps for America. So yeah, this is some
right. So let me put this comment up. Let me put this comment up here. You should hear yourselves. You sound like the elite. I'm not sure what that means.
He probably talking to the comment.
No,
he can't be talking to us.
Oh no, he could be. I think he's talking about, because we're talking about this topic. So maybe he's not talking about us, but I'm going to use that comment to just say this, because there is some leftists. I'm not saying this person, but he makes me think of this, or this person makes me think of it, is that because we're leftists and we're against imperialist powers, we're not supposed to know the details of what's going on and what their strategies are. Like, it's bizarre to me. And I'm not saying that person is saying that in this comment, but it made me think of that, because I have had heard comments like that before, where it's like, I don't understand not wanting to be part of the duopoly, not wanting to be part of the imperialist power, but I want to know every single detail about them and what's happening, the way they're thinking. So all of this stuff I want to know.
Better know.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe as a leftist you want to know this, but as a revolutionary, you need to know this.
You need to know.
And they don't necessarily have to be the same thing. You can be a leftist without being a revolutionary. I think I'm the revolutionary before I'm a leftist. I will put that in that order. So there is another key point that this person, Alfred, makes. I want to find it because it does relate to us.
Well, Professor McCoy, I'd like to ask you a couple of things about that. First of all, we talk about China and the U.S. as if they are two.
2001, China has integrated its economy into the U.S. supply chain. The two economies are absolutely intertwined. They account arguably for as much as 40% of world trade together. Okay, so there's no way that this is going to be disaggregated. China is economically dependent on its exports to the United States. That's the source of this vast amount of money. The $4 trillion all came primarily from U.S. trade. Simultaneously, the U.S. consumer economy is integrated with Chinese factories. So they're economically interdependent. That's the key difference. On the other hand, the competition is also very, very real. And China is hoping to surpass the United States economically. By the end of this decade, China's economy is going to be, according to PricewaterhouseCoopers, the international accounting firm, going to be at least 50% larger than the U.S. economy.
at least 50% larger, Rome, by the end of this decade. So we're talking about 8 years.
Yeah. Probably
It's
sooner
gonna
than
be
that.
50%.
I say
Yeah.
sooner than that because we see the American dollar falling right before us.
Right. Right. So the point is all of this stuff is happening all at the same time. You get what I'm saying? Like all of this stuff. It has to trigger a revolution.
Yeah.
It has to. Because if people are not gonna get in the streets when everybody is living like the most poorest people on the planet, when everybody's living like that, it has to wake up more people than that is woke for this revolution now, Rome. At least that's what I'm hoping.
If it ain't gonna be a revolution, it's gonna be a mass. Revolution is all we got. It's either that you leave or you starve to death. You're gonna end up starving your family out. You're gonna end up dying out, or the lack of healthcare. Think about the lack of healthcare we got now. Imagine the lack of healthcare you're gonna have after this shit hit.
Yeah. You need to start growing your own food. That's very important.
Mm-hmm.
Learn how to grow your own food. We're gonna do a stream on that, bring Logan on, do a couple of streams on that. We're all community. We need to prepare for this, prepare each other. So let's listen to a couple of more comments from him before we end this video here.
In this conflict between China and the United States, these two countries are not alone, obviously. The Belt and Road Initiative is meant to win friendship and support to China from other parts of the world. I'm wondering if you would talk about countries like Russia and Iran, you mentioned, in terms of where they would stand in a developing conflict with the United States, and also about Latin America, which China has probably been the only major power to make significant inroads.
Man, China has been investing in freaking South America. They've been investing in Africa, like real investments.
Yeah.
Like not just giving corrupt governments money, like building roads, building rails, like building infrastructure. They've been laying this shit out so fucking nice. Isn't it better to get people on your side by helping them than to beating them over the head with a gun and shooting them and bombing them? Isn't that better?
Yeah. And threatening them. Like we already threatened them and sanctioned them to death. Like we tried to put China back in poverty with our sanctions.
Yeah.
Tried our best, but it didn't work. So stop talking about Bitcoin before I put your ass in timeout too. God damn it! I already told
you and Awkward be in those comments, like reading what people be saying. He was doing the same thing. He was like, man, like saying stuff people were saying in the comments. You and Awkward. Let's finish up this video so we can get to the Bree story, Sam Seder story.
Inroads into a continent or an area of the world that used to be considered the U.S. backyard.
Sure. First of all, in Latin America, China has an explicit strategy of resource development with Latin America, and its trade with our own southern neighbors is already larger than our own. The core of China's strategy.
How is China trading more with the people right next door to us than us, Rome? Does that? I don't understand.
Is what the father of modern geopolitics, a British geographer named Sir Halford Mackinder, called the World Island, and he looked at the map in an article in 1904, over 100 years ago, and he said, "Let's look at the map critically." And he said, "What we see is that there are three continents that are close together that form the World Island: Europe, Asia, and Africa." Right? And he said, whoever dominates the pivot region, the heart in Central Asia of this world island, dominates the world. And from his perspective, these three continents were the core of geopolitical power. And then there were some small outlying islands like Greenland and North America and South America. So China part of China's strategy.
That's what the thing, Rome. Americans look at the United States as the center.
Yeah.
And everything else. We are the satellite to the mainland which is like Africa, Europe, and Asia. Those continents that are clustered together, we're just an offshoot of that. But in our own sort of self like brainwashing, we've told ourselves that we're like the center of the universe. So
yeah.
let's
we made
go
ourselves
ahead.
the police in the you know what I'm saying, of the world. And for long we have been threatening countries, you know what I'm saying, war or nukes and shit like that, even if we still go to war with their country or just still wherever the fuck we want. You know, those days have changed. You know what I'm saying? And we have not only prepared our enemies financially for this, we have sold them weapons openly.
Yep.
And now we see Saudi Arabia is taking that same money and like new money. Who it is?
That's funny. All right, let's listen to what he says here about the purpose of the Navy in keeping dominance here.
Chinese working class to produce its goods at low wage levels. So in a growing rift between China and the US, which economy is likely to suffer the more profound upheaval?
Saudi Arabia
That's
is
the key difference when people talk about
these motherfuckers in the comments be so quick to jump. Nigga, Saudi Arabia is, nigga, what the hell is you talking about? Their government is out of control. Killing journalists. Then they just
killed 81.
Then they just beheaded
81 people.
Stop it. It's not the people.
It's good.
We're not talking about everyday people.
Of course not. Yeah, we're talking about the leaders. We're talking about the psychopathic leaders of all these countries that we have, giving high fives and shit. All right, let's listen.
At low wage levels. So in a growing rift between China and the US, which economy is likely to suffer the more profound upheaval?
That's the key difference when people talk about a new Cold War. That's the difference between the old Cold War and the new Cold War, as you absolutely correctly pointed out. Okay, it is the economic interdependence between these two global superpowers. Since 2001, China has integrated its economy into the US supply chain. The two economies are absolutely intertwined. They account arguably for as much as 40% of world trade together. Okay, so there's no way that this is going to be disaggregated. China is economically dependent on its exports to the United States. That's the source of this vast amount of money. The $4 trillion all came primarily from US trade. Simultaneously, the US consumer economy is integrated with Chinese factories. So they're economically interdependent. That's the key difference. On the other hand, the competition is also very, very real. And China is hoping to surpass the United States economically. By the end of this decade, China's economy is going to be, according to PricewaterhouseCoopers, the international accounting firm, going to be at least 50% larger than the US economy. And that is going to give China enormous economic leverage. Moreover, by the end of this decade, I think that they will be able to survive an economic break with the United States because, of course, they're spreading that economic control around the globe. So they are superseding us. In terms of real value, what you can buy for a yuan or a dollar, China's economy is already right now probably larger than the US economy. But by the end of the decade, it'll be clearly larger, at least 50% larger. And from that economic control, China will be able to expand its military in a number of military fields, like anti-ballistic missiles. They're already ahead of us. They're building their navy. They're going to be working very hard to push us beyond what China calls the first island chain, which America calls the Pacific Littoral. That string of islands off the coast of Asia from Japan through Okinawa, Taiwan, and all the way down to Australia. China wants to push us out of that. They want to push us back to the mid-Pacific. They want to split the Pacific Ocean down the middle. And China's Navy is getting to the point where they might be able to do that.
Well, all right. I think that's all we're going to cover here. But
dude, did you just hear, dog? They can split the fucking ocean again. This is power, bro.
Yeah.
This is power that we have been held. I think overall, like I was explaining this yesterday. Like, we all look at America and we look at the money and we look at the military, and we always think like, well, they put more money in their military. Like, no, that's not what makes the military. You know, these people don't have to export and import. You know what I'm saying? The resources is right there. They can build whatever fuck weapon they right there. They got way better technology. Their doctors are way smart. Their scientists are way smarter. They are way more advanced than us in schooling, and you know, like, holy fuck. Overall, we're not ready, and we're surrounded by continents with jets that can fly nuclear weapons to us in seconds. We're not ready for this. We will never. The way that we have just wrecked this economy, and everybody been laundering money and selling off pieces of America. The way we are set up right now, we will never be ready to ever go after China and Russia ever again, and they are making sure of this.
Yeah, and like I said, all of this the discussion is all talking imperialist power strategies or countries' strategies, geopolitical strategies. But all of this, the only reason we're even talking about this is for everybody to understand, yeah, that's what's happening, but we're talking about it so you understand this, we're going to be affected by this. So that's the whole point of us even, you know, discussing this, is that to get everybody to understand is that we're going to feel the effects of all of this, you know, bullshit that they've created, this house of cards that they've created. Like, we're going to feel the brunt of this. So let me now go to
They're about to disarm America, and they're gonna be like, what you gonna do? What you gonna, like, what can America do? You not financially backed. Your dollar means nothing. Your military,
we don't have any manufacturing here.
No manufacturing. I got it. What you gonna do? What you want to do? Actually, what you want to do, my nigga?
Dang. So I'm gonna bring up now. I'm gonna switch to the. I'm not even logged into the right one. I'm gonna switch to the Brianna Joy Gray Sam Seder story. So yesterday I did a stream where I know I'm late to the game, but Rome, you know the debate that she did with Sam Seder and then Jackson Hinkle and then all the reaction videos, Vosh. So I went through all of those and I never had seen them until yesterday. And I did a stream. But during that stream, Brianna Joy Gray makes a comment. So I do want to talk about that comment. Where is her comment here? Okay, here's bad faith. All right, so I'm gonna. Is it already on screen? Oh no, it's not.
Though. I don't, man, motherfucker.
Yeah. So I thought it was funny. I can't click on it to make it
Welcome
bigger.
to another episode.
Oh, what the hell?
Excuse me.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I was just trying to look at the comments. So let me turn that sound off or stop that video. Let's make this bigger. I think this is how you make it bigger. Right?
That's about it.
Okay. Okay. All right. Here we go. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh, here it goes. All right. So here we are. This is the comment. I didn't see this until this morning. I woke up and I was like, bad faith. What is it? How do I have a notification from bad faith? Or how do we? Because it came through our account. I'm logged into the Populist Voice, but it came through our account. Sam is straight up lying about me not wanting to come on. It was the holidays and we kept missing each other. He straight up lied. He didn't know how to use Twitter DMs. How do you not know how to use Twitter DMs? He does not use Twitter DMs, and I was the only one who had to follow up and get him to commit to a discussion. I have the DMs. Can't believe over a year later, I still have to dispute his straight up dishonesty. I invited him to debate in good. I think this means in good faith. And this is what I got. Yeah, and that's B. So she signed it B, so I'm assuming that means that she signed it herself. And I mean, had you watched the debate Like yourself?
Man, that shit's so long. Am I remember? This is when I got Sam Cedar fucked up the first time, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was so long ago. I was like,
yes.
yeah.
Fuck up the first time. That's the new thing. He fucked up the first time. But I can play the video just so you can see what he's talking about. He was just saying, you know,
right?
Yes, he was just saying how, I invited her on. He said I invited her on the Majority Report, and she didn't want to come, is what she said.
Yeah,
that's
bullshit.
the story.
We gonna come and talk shit. Well, she gonna come for show, even if she ain't talking shit. But she is show.
Yeah. So I thought. I mean, I thought it was funny. Let's look at a couple of comments people made from her comment. So she had 8 replies. Kudos to you for destroying that arrogant piece of shit. Is that on the screen? Yeah. That arrogant piece of shit. Also, I must apologize to you for misjudging you before. Keep fighting the good fight, Bree. And then Patrick said, I don't care, Sam Cedar. I think that's a quote from Sam Cedar. He said, you did a great job with Force to Vote. I don't consider it a failure because I've been involved with the Medicare for All activism for 5 years, and most Medicare for All leaders are like lighties. I don't know what that means. He and the DSA did close to nothing for CalCare. Oh, I guess he's talking about Sam Cedar. And DSA did close to nothing for CalCare. You mentioned their plan was to have Newsom lead the way. Newsom lightly, or I think that's a person. Lighty and the DSA hardly did anything for CalCare. And then they go on. Okay, so any other ones here? Nothing major about this here. Force to Vote was a pivotal moment for the left because it exposed those who refuse to act and will instead actively stand in the way of those who do. That's a great point. Go ahead, bro.
Damn, nigga, he just broke down the whole motherfucking thing because you see when we was like, you know what I'm saying? We need healthcare. We need healthcare. And everybody's like, no, it's all right, just compromise. And next thing you know, coronavirus hit during the voting, the vote. And then motherfuckers like, okay, well, y'all really got to vote for. We like, no, bitch, we need healthcare. We got to make sure that we got some type of deal going on before these people get in office. Everybody like, oh, no, compromise. Every time, bro. They stood in front of us. They used their platforms to shit on us, call us dumb.
Yeah, I forgot about that. The dumb left. Where did that start? Do you know? Like,
ass.
Dumb left.
And they trying to tell me that that's not dumb to call a whole bunch of fucking black people dumb. We're the only fucking black left. What the fuck you calling dumb?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Who else is on this side? They got Kyle Kalinske. They got all them fucking white heads. Come on, man. Like I know a dog whistle. I heard so many of them. They might be silent, but bitch, I can catch them.
Yeah. So I'm gonna because you I'm sure you remember, but just for those who was not around yesterday for the show, I'm gonna play a little bit of the video where he talks about Bree, not wanting to come on his show, so he went on her show. So that you can get the context of where she was talking about that. Let's stop sharing that one. Let's start sharing this one. This will be the last thing we do before we end the stream, or one of the last things we do before we end the stream today. For those that was here yesterday, sorry I'm repeating this part here, but this is it.
Jimmy Files. Love Bree and Virgil in bad faith, but at one point the debate, Bree says that TYT, Majority Report, the DSA, our congressional allies didn't get behind the Force to Vote. And it's like, yeah, maybe reflect on that. I will say this. Look, I went into that situation not quite fully appreciating what was going to happen. And Force the Vote is in the past. It failed. It didn't just fail. Let me be clear here. it didn't just fail in the sense that the progressives in the Congress weren't it didn't do what Force the Vote wanted to do, which was to force a vote on Medicare for all. If I organize 3 million people to put comments in at the FCC to reverse net neutrality, let's say, just to use an example in the past, and net neutrality isn't reversed, okay, that failed. But I did organize 3 million people to send in comments and achieved like the biggest amount of pressure that the FCC has ever received. In this instance, Force the Vote failed. And I think, many people subscribe to the note.
Oh, nigga, get back.
Convinced to support a candidate or to support an endeavor or whatever. And the Force the Vote people failed miserably at that. And one of the reasons, they failed to convince me was that it was a middling idea.
To give people health care
was the right ask.
Yeah. He's a joke. He's a joke. That's not the video, but I mean, it still was a good video to show. But that wasn't the video.
Johnny, stop lying. I love Sabby. She always will be a part of RBN. She always will be a part of me. I'm actually going to be with Sabby in Boston, April 25th. So y'all check that out.
Oh, you're reading comments. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm just trying to shut them up because they talking about Sabby.
Watch this.
Too narrow with something that was like a online thing. But there was a big controversy at the beginning of the year, you may be aware of an attempt by some members of the internet world that some of whom identified as left, arguably, that they should the members of the squad should, and progressives in general, I guess, in the House should withhold.
Why are we called online left and they're not? How do you view them? But
online left. When the last time
he talking about?
Their legs?
Yeah, what is he talking about? The online. I just picked that up. I didn't pick that up yesterday. I'm like, wait a minute. How do we view you online?
Oh, shit.
Hold their votes for Nancy Pelosi's leadership, and in return get a vote on Medicare for all, which would have surely lost at a minimum 113, like that's the number of people who signed on to co-sponsor it, to the remainder of the House, which is about 313 or no, 20, I guess. So 320.
Because Force the Vote wasn't about really getting us health care. It was about really exposing the motherfuckers that was holding us back so we can go forward with the steps to getting us health care, because we knew if we was to put the shit on the goddamn floor, it was gonna be like cockroaches spreading out. When you turn the lights on, they would be like, whoa, shit, let's get away from this motherfucker, because the light is on now, the heat is on now, and now you really have to not only sign on to it, not only co-sign, but you know what I'm saying, push that shit and sign for it in law. And we know that they are only using this bill to basically sheepgoat us into the Democratic Party and say, I believe in Medicare for all. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's a great point. And this is the same thing I said yesterday. Either he's pretending not to know what the point of this was, or he's that disconnected, because the whole point of this was we already knew it was going to fail, but what do you have to do, Rome, when a bill is up on the floor? You have to debate it. So we wanted all eyes on Congress debating this Medicare for all, something that's 88% approval during a pandemic. That was the point.
Who's going to turn down? Who's going to, like, okay, we are going to have some Republicans talking about it's going to kill these jobs and blah, blah, blah. But overall, especially during this pandemic, we had some Republicans signing on to the Pentagon bill when Bernie Sanders was introducing to take away 10% from the Pentagon to cover everybody with health care during the pandemic. They said no to that. We couldn't even get that.
Yeah.
And that made it close enough. That made it close enough to the floor, and it got turned away. But if we had a real bill, who's gonna turn down a real bill during a fucking pandemic for everybody to have health care openly on camera, even though you have sponsored it, you co-sponsored it? Now you have people getting their groups of people raised up and enraged because they see what's happening. They see the truth. And now, whether y'all know it or not, whether y'all like it or not, we all got fucked during the pandemic. How much money did we lose? $1.9 trillion. Now it was like 1.2 trillion dollars. The same thing that these fucking billionaires and these trillionaires had accumulated during this pandemic. They didn't cover us. They barely covered us with any financial help, stimulus checks, unemployment. They cut that shit. They cut the motherfucking the child tax credit off. They just cutting you and getting richer, and just keeping enough of you guys comfortable enough to not fucking revolt against this fucking system. Just be like, okay, I'm getting by. No, let's get up and on and over this fucking shit, because I'm tired of being behind. I'm tired of trying to catch up or holding on by a string. These people are holding us back. Sam Seder to all these people. Sam Seder to the Democratic Party. All of them are holding us back, bro. Straight the fuck up.
They are the white moderate, the entire party, in my opinion. This is the video. This is another video. This is a video everybody who was asking I was supposed to cover. I had Vosh mentioned in the title and the thumbnail, but I forgot that this video to cover where he kind of gives his take. And let's listen a little bit to this.
Oh my God, man, you trying to torture a nigga today? I need a cigarette. Look at him got cigarettes.
Jimmy Dore turned this into a litmus test for progressives as to whether they were actually on our side. And you asked about the cost.
So he's saying Jimmy Dore turned it into a litmus test on whether you're down for Medicare for all. So I don't see why I wouldn't have I don't see a problem with that. There's a strategy to force Medicare for all out in the open on the congressional floor, on the House floor, and you're not on board with that. Like, you don't physically have to go. Why shouldn't I use that as a litmus test? Like, why shouldn't I do that would be my question. But let's listen some more.
And when it became clear to me that this was going to cost a lot more, like I say, I was open to the idea from a perspective of 1,000 flowers bloom. I didn't necessarily think it was the greatest thing in the world. I thought maybe there were other asks that you could get. But as soon as he took the energy and it was all emanating from him and around him.
As soon as this person, one human, did this, I said, fuck all the people who's going to benefit from Medicare for all. That's what I said. Isn't that essentially what he's saying?
Yeah.
Like, this is the reason why rich white liberals can't be the main voices of a movement. Look at how their decision making is based off a personal thing. Now, if I go down to the hood, whether I go to Detroit or whether I go to Compton, and you tell them Jimmy Dore said this or blah, 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 or some person they didn't like, but is that going to stop you from coming over here and getting health care? They'll be like, you out your fucking mind, man? I ain't had health care in 10 years. I fuck whoever the fuck that is. I'm going to get my health care. You get what I'm saying? So this is the reason why we need people who are in the hood, people who are marginalized, to be the ones on the front line, because they're not going to sell us out. They're not gonna say, oh, that one person who I don't fucking like, that's the reason why I'm not gonna support this movement. You get what I'm saying, Rome?
Right. Fuck all the mothers and sisters and brothers and the generations of people who's gonna benefit from this bill. I don't like Jimmy Dore. I don't like Nick. I don't like Nick Brennan. I don't like Nick Cruz. I don't like CJ. I don't like Rome. So I can't see myself aligning with something that these guys agree with. Healthcare for these guys? Die.
That's a joke,
but
man.
It's crazy because it's only hurting me because I'm still, and thank you. I want to say this publicly to the people who's helping me and my and one of my best friends, Tay. You know, his mother need a kidney. And I got a couple of people who's gonna be a donor and donate a kidney, but we're still going through. It's so many fucking things that they making us go through. I'm like, all right, they trying to push us back. Like, well, you need a donor, and we got to put you online. And I'm like, oh, I got multiple people already down to do it. They're like, oh, well, it's still gonna cost this and that. I'm like, oh, well, we have the money for this too. Oh, well, we got to go through. I'm like, it sounds like y'all want her to die. It sounds like y'all want her to die because I'm trying to do whatever it is. I'm trying to do whatever it is to keep my best friend mother alive, man. This shit is hurting me. You know what I'm saying? To see her ill like this.
Right.
I haven't seen them in a minute. I just came back around. And now I see, like, I'm just like.
Let's listen to some more rum, and we can stop listening to these people. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to get nicer.
These people sick in the head, man.
Yeah.
On every one of those conversations, you mentioned Sirota and conversations that you had. He was in, and I didn't see all of them, but all the ones that I did see, he was there. Whether it was 5 or 6 other people, he was there dominating the conversations, and this turned into a project for him. And it was, I don't know on that Slack that I saw the images on that Slack. I don't know how representative that was, but it at the very least,
like, how long are you going to talk about Jimmy Dore when we're talking about this? Like, how long are you going to talk about Jimmy Dore when we're going to talk about this? Like,
he have no sense of urgency.
So fucking stupid.
Not one fucking, sense
man.
of urgency is in him at all, man. Fuck this ugly ass Rachel Maddow. If Rachel Maddow was a man looking at
you about to go there, huh? Wait, forced Medicare for all. I'm trying to find. That's not.
Actually, that was it. Bree has snapped off. That was it.
No, that was the video, but that wasn't the one I had saw. Wait, Vouch went on. He went on the Cal and the Crystal and Cal show.
You don't remember niggas was talking shit about that shit?
I don't follow nigga. I don't follow none of this shit, man. I really don't even pay attention to this shit.
The bullshit pop up on my Twitter, and I'm tortured, bro. They torture me with the bullshit.
You can't look away. I know I could do. You can't look away. I can't, man. I can't be involved with this just dumbass shit all the time. Like, how are you involved with this all the time?
I don't like even playing that shit through my speakers because it gives my house a bad energy and shit.
Yeah,
these white people was evil, bro. These motherfuckers really got petty fights, and they like, I'm not using my platform of millions of people. I refuse to use my platform of millions of people to advocate for healthcare for everybody because what, bro? You evil, bro. Ain't no way. That's not pettiness, bro. That's not pettiness. That's evil, and you know who you are targeting. We all are smart enough to know what we are doing with the platforms that we have. Right? Whether we are pushing communist propaganda, whether we are pushing CIA propaganda, whether we are staying in the middle, left to the right, we all know what we are doing here. He knows that he's holding back healthcare from the black and brown communities. He knows this, but he don't give a fuck. And that's why you will never see his fucking legs.
It's going to end up being McCarthy because
that's just not true, Sam. That's just.
Oh, I mean, I think we already. The whole thing is going to end up being McCarthy. So this proves to me when he thought that, let me play it first.
That 218 people to coalesce around another person, it's going to end up being McCarthy because
that's just not true, Sam. That's just fundamentally not true.
Walk through this.
And that's I'm
going to give you my scenario.
So he built sort of his whole premise of being against this thing because of different things, right? Jimmy was one. I think strategy was less it, but he still, he didn't think it was a great thing, but it was part of it. And then the other was that it could go in the hands of the Republicans. The Republican argument is a joke because it's not true. And then the other argument has been debunked, which only leaves the Jimmy Dore, Rome. The only thing that's left is Jimmy Dore is pissing this guy off, and he has old TYT beef with him. And now he's not going to support it. And he can do that because he's privileged. He has health care. And whether or not they pass health care through Congress, he's always going to have health care. And he knows that.
McCarthy, because
that's just not true, Sam. That's just fundamentally not true.
Walk through this.
And that's abortion is a bad thing. We've been
I'm going to give you my scenario about this. I'm going to give you my scenario. They say no.
One thing that I really like about Sam Seder is that he's a boomer, which means he never stops talking. Michael Brooks did this too. Sometimes when arguing with people that he disagreed with, it's that they just don't stop. You know, they have absolutely no shame about continuing their argument. They don't even shout.
I think I'm gonna leave it. I can't listen to this person too often, Vouch, because it really makes me concerned that any people would listen to this person. People only listen to this person because of his voice. That is it. That's what got him his foot in the door is his voice.
The NPR bullshit.
I'm trying to tell you, the right voice can get you to take your clothes off in 10 below degree weather. Okay.
Oh yeah.
The right voice, the way it says, and that's what this is. If he didn't have nobody be listening to this fucking George Costanza spinoff moron, he's a fucking joke.
Shout over other people. They just are entitled to all of the
Oh,
talking. Yeah.
We're not going to vote for Nancy Pelosi. We're going to vote for Hakeem Jeffries.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. And if you got what was the 218 to 212 or something, right? What I can't remember.
I believe it was 216 to 212 with a majority of 215.
How much? I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. I feel like they should be able to afford a better audio setup. There's so much echo on Virgil, Texas.
This is what socialists bring up. Socialists do this.
Who the fuck gives a fuck about?
Exactly. What the fuck?
Oh,
why don't we talk about your fucking ponytail, bro? Let's talk about that shit. What the fuck? Get the fuck out of here with this shit.
Texas's mic. Holy shit. The mic is
because you have a radio voice. You the one who have a radio voice, which you should have stayed on radio, sir. Let's just put it there. You should have stayed on the radio or go to radio.
Oh my god.
It's fine. He's speaking in like a broom closet or something.
But it's like I'm gonna take this out because it's really just ridiculous. He doesn't have a point. So what does he start talking about?
When these niggas say they socialists,
like
they mean natural. They mean
joke,
natural
man.
socialists. That's what they mean.
Yeah, like I can't listen to that person. That's the second video I've ever seen of that guy. Just his it's so bizarre that people actually listen to that person. That is so bizarre to me. That person and is his name Hassan Piker? Like just listening to them talk about politics, I'm like, why the fuck is anybody listening to this motherfucker? They only talk about this person in particular. He talks about politics in terms of only when he's rebutting somebody, only when he's punching down. He never talks about socialism like, hey guys, let's go ahead and talk about this shit we about to plan, this event. It's never that. It's always this person is planning the general strike. Let's dump on that motherfucker. This person over here is talking about force. It's always to punch at leftists.
And then see, people like this try to shield themselves by giving away to charities, which already is owned by rich people. Any
That is
way.
so.
It's a good way to watch their money.
That is so much the deeds of an oppressor, right? You treat somebody bad and then you give them a gift at Christmas and they think that makes it all better. Here's a Christmas bonus, right? Right. So that's
all year, but here's a Christmas present.
Right. And you bomb black and brown people, or you economically fund bombing black and brown people, and then you donate to the United Negro Fund. Oh, okay, I'm good now. It's the same. That's an oppressor sort of way of thinking. That you think for a person who calls himself leftist or socialist to say, who's able-bodied and say, I'll give $1 million, but I'm not going to give my time. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. I just don't buy it, and I don't understand anybody who buys this gimmick. But Rome, think about this. This gimmick is repeated so many times because it's a character. You have who else do you have playing this gimmick? You have Jank playing this gimmick of spoiling leftists. You have so many white leftists playing this same role. The Majority Report, we don't even have to say all of TYT and a conspiracy playing the same role. Emma Vigeland playing the same role. Rich, white, leftists sprinkle in a couple of, I support Medicare for all, I support all of those things, never willing to do nothing to physically get it. Yep. Nothing in the way of marching towards it.
Why would they do this, bro? Like, look, just like like if we was to ever get big on this shit right here with this network, with people's lives getting better, our lives would change too. And networks know this. So they have to this is where they start to manufacture consent. You know what I'm saying? To push certain ideas on people to try to keep them in certain places, try to keep them in the middle. Mm-hmm. Like, I will always want you guys to grow further than me and go to the left of me. But that's not what these people want. These people don't want you to go too far left. They want you just around enough to vote for the imperialists, to vote for this capitalist machine and act like you're doing something to it. You're not. You're not. Everything that you have done, all those charities that you just helped, if you're not pushing for revolution overall, then you just reversed everything that you have done. You just reversed everything that you have done. So you have to push for communism, for socialism all over, not just that nationalist, socialist bullshit that they are spewing. Because that's what they are spewing. Because every time when it comes down to actually helping other countries and whatnot, they're talking about putting sanctions on them. They're agreeing with dropping bombs on them. You will never hear that from RBN. You will never hear that. But here we are. They back up America when times get rough because they know that this is what keeps their pockets full. This is what keeps their machine oiled. It's your downfall. You being poor, you being fed up, you being mad at the machine. They need you to not be well in order for their pockets to swell. I should say.
Oh shit. Okay, let me see this shit. No, this motherfucker is not talking about Nick right here. I never seen this shit. Let me put this on the screen.
What is it?
On the screen here. I saw a picture of Jimmy Dore.
That's what they can't do.
Oh yeah,
He's talking about
old.
one of our shits.
Yeah, this old.
I never seen it. See, I don't be paying attention to this shit. Let me see what he said.
That's how you organize. And the problem with that guy,
but he's not talking about Nick. He's using it to talk about Jimmy. Is what he's using it for.
He's using him to go after us.
Okay, that's
how it goes.
I never seen
They
it.
don't want to go. They don't want to go. They don't really want to go at RBN head to head. I remember when Vosh and Nick had their back and forth. They had a debate.
They can't. Wrong. Come on, bro. They don't want to. They can't go head up.
They had a debate.
They don't want to go head up at all, because it's going to end like it ended on the Jen Perlman show. You bring me on that motherfucker.
Cut all that shit off, quick as fuck.
That's why they know they're gonna see black rage, and there's nothing that put fear into white liberal like seeing black rage.
Yep. Oh no,
it'll be like deer in the headlights.
How the hell y'all gonna have a platform of millions of fucking people and hold back information and hold back ways to fight and feed? You guys are no better than the motherfuckers that you hate. You don't hate these people. They feed you. They fill your pockets just as much as any other person watching your motherfucking stream.
Let's listen to some more of this guy.
Is that those are the kind of people who used to vote for Democrats 30 years ago, and they aren't anymore because they've been squashed also by the capitalist machine.
This is not true, by the way. the vast majority of participants in the insurgency group are going to be people who generally vote Republican. This is completely pulled out of his hat.
Those guys are victims
Hold
of the
on.
capitalist machine.
So
just like
Republicans don't go through. What are you saying? Republicans are rich?
No. He's saying that the insurgency, meaning like maybe this is what he calls, like, I don't know him enough to know what language, but he's saying insurgency. I'm taking that to mean some sort of revolution, some sort of fight or something like that is what I'm taking. He's saying that it's mostly going to be Republicans.
If anything, he was wrong again, because we've seen Republicans and MAGAs run up in the Capitol. They had their revolution.
That's what he's saying. That's what Vaush is. I think that's what Vaush is saying. He's saying that Jimmy's wrong, that it's going to be that Jimmy's wrong, even though Jimmy's not directly saying that. He's saying that Jimmy's wrong and it's going to be mostly Republicans is what he's saying.
just like if that guy's unemployed, he wasn't getting his COVID relief. Their livelihoods are being taken away from them. So why don't you engage them? And so
So again, participants in these groups are disproportionately wealthy. Actually tend to be a fairly wealthy guy. Running around the country all day with expensive weaponry and hardware is expensive. That is not poor people who are working 2 jobs to support their family don't get up one day and say, I'm going to take a 3-week tour around the United States with $6,000 in tactical weaponry so I can LARP in front of a couple live streamers. No, they didn't do this for their livelihood. They're fine. But this is, by the way, exactly what I was saying with the Nazbol Vortex. Look at how this guy, by the way, Fred Hampton was a socialist. Jimmy Dore isn't even a socialist. Look at how Jimmy Dore is disingenuously co-opting socialist or pro-working class rhetoric.
Dude, you have to be funded in some type of way. You have to be
listening to
funded.
this guy.
Even if, like, what's gonna happen when I start showing all the fucking weaponry that I have, and showing that we are ready to take on small governments and small militias? Is
So
they gonna
another
say that
thing,
I'm wealthy? No,
Exactly.
I'm funded by people, and this is, you get people who agree with you to, like, I just don't get these people, because you know what? Even to even get there and get that wealthy, to even get that type of that type of weaponry or protection, you need connections. You need connections. You need to organize. You need to be grassroots some type of way. You need to really get the shit from the ground. So I don't really know where the fuck.
No, so let me break down Vaush's. And the thing is, from Vaush, I can break this motherfucker down right now. And I've heard maybe 5 minutes of him speaking. Okay. Vouch, or is that that's how you say his name? Vouch.
don't know.
Vouch, right? Vouch is one of those people who study or have studied political thought, political thinking, political ideology, Marxism, all of that stuff, and love to talk about it. It's because it's to show his intelligence in his mind. It's to be like, because I've noticed in his conversation, he likes to use sort of Marxist style language in how he speaks. It sort of gives him validity to use these words, and maybe the people who are listening to him may not even understand all the words. So this guy must know what the fuck he's talking about, and he's studied history, he studied philosophy, ideology enough where he can make these comments that kind of give him the aura of knowing what he's talking about. And what he does is, he's a gamer, right? And I feel like what this is how he even became famous, is that he's a gamer. So it's like you meet a lot of rich white liberals in this category where they get off in the discussion. It's like a battle of intellect, a battle of, I studied this and I know how revolutions, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like that's his whole game.
And I'm telling y'all, like, that shit ain't
Dore doesn't
working.
know this.
Nowadays.
It's very elitist. It's very elitist. It's Jimmy Dore came across his information just, I don't even know how. I've read all this stuff and I can say this word and that word and insurgents, and I can insert Fred Hampton here and all this other nonsense to give you the idea that I'm legit. And it's all based in the idea, to me, is that he's trying to prove like nerds do. Like I'm smart, and I know this more than you because I know these things and I can apply it. And that's what he's doing. That's my breakdown of the douche
nerd
known as Vaush. Yes. We're gonna be getting out of here. I went way past when I was supposed to. Rome, you got any more? I am gonna play maybe another 2 minutes of this video just so I can allow him to finish. Oh damn, I haven't been seeing super chats. I hope this is the first one because I haven't even seen any others.
No, but these niggas always crash and burn. Motherfuckers like him always crash and burn, man. They go up so high, and it's only so far that you can go because it's only so far that they allow themselves. They are not revolutionary. They are not actually, communists. They are national socialists.
Mm-hmm.
They are, what I'm saying? They confine themselves, align themselves with Nazis or real Nazis. I'm not talking about some Republican type shit. Because now look at these people. These are the same people that probably got the blue. I don't know if he got it in it, but he probably got the blue and yellow flag in his fucking.
I bet he does. But look at it from the mind of a gamer. I'm going back to this. Look at it from the mind of a gamer. If you know a gamer, I know plenty of gamers. My wife is actually ex-gamer. It's all strategizing. They are so strategic in how they think. So, and that's who Vaush is. It's like your theory of strategy is this. My theory of strategy is this, and it's based on all these books that I've read. Even though he's not doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And herein lies the problem with people like Vaush and people like Hassan Piker, is that they're going to espouse all the shit to convince you, but never do anything. Do you understand? There's
how the fuck you going like if I was having a conversation with these dudes live, if I was doing a debate and I was telling them like, no, it don't work like that. If you go into New York, you're gonna have to do this. You go into Florida, you're gonna have to do that. Who the fuck y'all gonna believe? Who the fuck y'all gonna believe? Like, no, I'm out here doing it, and you're gonna it's all about that. You gotta do this and that. No. Those books that you read was good. Those tactics was good for those times.
Right.
For those times. There are new monsters, bigger monsters that we have to defeat, and way more shit that we have to do, way more people to talk to and to grow in their neighborhoods in order to relate and actually, deliver. You can't just get out here and say, hey, I'm a socialist and we believe in this and blah, 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 and here's this and give me your vote. Nigga, who, what, where, when?
And here's the con. You see here? But they donate to strike funds. Here is the con right here that we were just discussing about the oppressor. This is our oppressor trait. It's a way of making those who would believe their bullshit or are on a borderline, they donate to strike funds. My question would be, do they use that as a tax write-off?
You know they fucking do.
Because if you do, then stop acting like that's a donation and because you're getting something out of it.
And you got that much money, you got to.
So stop the whole idea of charity. Stop this. Stop it. Okay? So how about this? How about you send them the money and then you say, hey, I'm going to organize 100,000 people to show up because I got the platform to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? It's a way, here's some money. I'm going to write it off and financially benefit from giving you that money, but I look like I'm a philanthropist. This is the whole concept of American philanthropy. I'm fucking shit up, but I can just sprinkle some money over here and it washes my sins away, and I'm looked at as a saint. And this sounds like that's what some people are doing because they donated to a strike fund. Let me put it this way. They donate to a strike fund. I don't have the money to donate to the strike fund. Who's doing more? Rome hasn't donated to a strike fund. They have. Who's doing more? Stop buying into capitalist saying that donating money is your thing, your deed to contribute to the movement is ridiculous. Only a capitalist or a person who thinks from a capitalist perspective that money is value. The money is the value that I'm extending here. Imagine if we were to do that for community. Instead of building the community, we just donate shit. Isn't that
Throw
what we
money
got
on
here?
niggas. Like, here you go.
Isn't that what we got here? Isn't that what we got where we don't have a community, where we can't lean on? We have to depend on these terrible jobs because we can't lean on our community. Anyway, I'm gonna keep going, Rome. So if I don't stop, I'm gonna stop here. Rome, you got anything? I'm gonna put up a bunch of tweets. So if you got anything you want to add here or talk about, maybe even if we can just stop talking about the conversation here. If you got anything you want to add, what was the update about Tour for the Poor you did in the stream for those who haven't seen the stream?
Yeah,
what was
I
the
had to,
update
I
for
had to
people
push
to
it
know?
back just a couple of days because it's spring break. That's what I didn't consider. So them prices to get to Florida.
Oh, to get to Florida, yeah.
Outrageous. I mean, them flights to get to Florida, they broke my heart. But I had got a lot of help yesterday, and so we gonna.
You were supposed to fly out yesterday?
I was supposed to be there right now. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get it right. As soon as I get out there, me and JB gonna be ready. We're gonna be ready to knock it out. I'm about to send him some more money as soon as I get off the stream. So he can basically go shopping for me, and by the time I get down there, we can have everything ready to go.
Who else is in Florida? Sky? Is Sky Daddy in Florida?
Scott Daddy, Jacksonville, and
okay.
Somebody else down there. I'm forgetting. Nico.
Okay. That's a good point here. Charities were put into place to take the role of government. Didn't you hear a lot of government saying that's what charities are for? Well, we need this. We need a better social. Let the charity, just the good deeds of people, take the place of what government is supposed to be doing. Yeah. So here, if the donation is made in Hassan's name, it's just a bunch of poorer people helping Hassan make his tax deduction. Exactly the point that I'm making about the tax deduction part. I gave this. Really? Are you writing it off in taxes? Is that charity really? I mean, just think about that. Is it really charity if you get something from it by giving it away? Isn't that by definition the opposite of charity? That's what I think. Anyway, let's read a.
What is charity? What is charity in a capitalist society? What is charity in, like, what the fuck? If you can write it off, if you can get it back, that's not.
Yeah,
I just don't get it.
Twitch is one of the biggest gaming platforms out there, and that's where he rose to stardom. I mean, I'm not a gamer, so I can't even imagine watching somebody playing the game. That seems very uninteresting to me. But this is how he rose to stardom, to fame, I guess. Yes. And I'm telling you, if he didn't have the voice he had, we would not be talking about this fucking guy. We would not be talking about him. And the other thing I want to just kind of throw in there, are we sure this person is not like CIA or FBI? Are we sure that that's not the case for Vaush?
I mean, the motherfucker said some fucked up shit.
Anybody
like niggas said some shit that he has took down, especially even defending CP. That's what his claim to fame to me was about. You know what I'm saying? Was that defending CP and AOP, I mean the AOC, and not AOC, but the AOC, you know.
Oh, what this is here. Let me take this off so we can see your face that better. There we go. Go ahead, Ron.
No. I was just
you reading this?
That's how I got to know him from, you know what I'm saying, defending some horrible things. Like, we shouldn't give a fuck about the Asian consent type shit. You know what I'm saying? It should be lower than try to defend us having slaves making our PlayStations and iPhones. And oh my God, man. I was like, holy fuck. People.
He said all this stuff?
Oh my God, man. Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is not real.
You're
This is
taking it out
not
of
real,
context.
bro.
You're taking it out of context, bro. Why
No,
are
it's
you
not.
even
This is not
talking
real,
about
bro.
that
I don't
shit?
believe it. Don't believe it. Don't
Why
believe
are
it.
you even talking about that shit, bro?
Yeah,
Why
let me
the
read this
fuck that
comment. If
shit?
you never experienced World of Craft chat when it first came out, you wouldn't know how racist and misogynist the internet actually is. I guess
Man,
people online over motives, they feel like modem gangsters. You know what I'm saying? They want to talk real tough over modems. Let's keep going to get through some more comments because I wasn't able to get through a lot of comments. I want to get it. You can't be a socialist and an imperialist too, Glenn Ford commenting on that is a great point. You can't be a socialist and imperialist too. That's a great point. Let's see this. The U.S. defaulted on its debt to Russia, and Russia is about to start asking Europe to pay for gas and oil and rubles. This is the main story. I saw that story, but it was still developing, is why it wasn't included on this, and it's likely to be included on tomorrow's stream. But I did see this story when I was looking for stories, and it just wasn't enough information for me to read about it to be included in this.
Of course, they don't want you to know about that shit. But I'm gonna hook you up. I'm gonna hook you up with my plug. They in one of them in Ukraine, one of them in Russia, and I'm gonna hook you up. Man, it's some shit that's going down, boy. Niggas don't know. I done seen some shit, boy. Oh
yeah, I'm seeing your
I'm
videos.
posting the nice shit.
Yeah, but this guy is this comment. This was the name I was trying to look for. I said George Costanza, but yeah, he's Peter Griffin with a beard and a ponytail. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. Like, that guy is so unserious. It's so unserious. If you're bringing him up as a real like debate about politics, it's not. It's not. Let's go to the next one. Imperialist socialists always been there, such as German SD. Okay. If someone from RBN was on Twitch, it would probably cut into Vaush and Hassan's views.
But see, we are on Twitch. We are on Twitch, but
we haven't put content up on there though.
Yeah,
it's not
and
content. Is not.
Is,
we gotta switch that. Yeah,
man. Like, I don't know. Like, when I had one on Twitch, Twitch is for motherfuckers like that because it's so motherfucking racist, bro. It's like they will come on that bitch and call you all types of whatever the fuck.
You know, I never knew that. I don't know Twitch, so this is
we don't actually look at the comments on Twitch. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes because I got PTSD from Twitch, man. Because it's so many races on that motherfucker. When I first started doing the streaming shit, you know, and I ain't have nobody coming through. You know what I'm saying? Watching my shit, racist motherfuckers drop by and be like, "Nigger," like, damn, the fuck I do.
Yeah. Oh, right here, he does have a blue and yellow flag on his IG. To answer your question you asked earlier. Here's another comment. Hassan is Sikh's or Jenky's nephew, so he is a neo-lib. Let's continue. Get some more comments that I missed. Sorry, everybody, for missing all these comments. He's a rich kid living with his parents in Beverly Hills. No urgency. Damn. He lived with his parents? He lived with his parents and he just bought that car?
No. They talking about Vaush.
Vaush makes money too.
No, yeah, they talking about Vaush living in Beverly Hills.
He lives with his parents with that beard? He lived with his parents with a beard like that? That motherfucker, I would have kicked that motherfucker out a long time ago.
I can't wait for my son to turn like 22. Get your ass, your streaming ass out. You making all this money, get your ass out.
Hassan is one of the largest streamers on Twitch, full stop, not just among political commentaries. I would not assume. Yeah, that so if I said along, no, they both are popular because of gaming. It wasn't like they were espousing political beliefs and then they came to rise and they just started playing video games. They were playing video games first and
like
rose to fame that way.
These motherfuckers are going to fall off because times will move forward and they will stand still. They will have nothing else to teach. There's nothing else for them to preach. Their show and their people will move to the left of them. and there's nothing that they can do. I done seen like people like this come and go. We done seen people like this come and go. Alex Jones that had the light. All these motherfuckers that had the light. I done seen people like this come and go. And yes, they might be popular now, but time don't stand still for no man. And if you find yourself in the middle of any war or of any conflict in politics, the people will move on. Whether they move to the right or to the left, they're not gonna be, they ain't trying to hear that shit no more.
That's a
And that's
great
speak up for
point.
our audience also.
That is a great point. And I'm gonna get to the super chat now after these. Vouch wants to win the argument. He does not really care. That is it. That's it. That's the kind of sort of what I was sort of trying to explain earlier, is that it's about in an argument beating you and describing if which strategy would work. That is what his whole brand to me, and I've picked that up in 5 minutes. And that's 5 minutes. Vouch is this generation's Jonah Goldberg. I don't know who that is.
Vouch called what Nick
Jonah
said
Goldberg.
Nick said Vouch Limbaugh.
Vouch complains about the Nuts Bowl vortex, but has no problem funneling American taxpayer dollars to ultra nationalists in Ukraine.
He was bred to spill BS.
Yeah,
yes,
he's full of
bro.
shit. He's full of shit.
Yes.
Like
You know what?
literally,
bro.
Literally, we're not going to come in contact with him.
What are they going to get? They're going to accumulate all this money, and what are they going to do with it? Either they're going to become revolutionary leaders with it, or they're going to sit down with it.
He ain't doing a motherfucking thing. He's not doing it. And that's what I was just about to go to. Listen, don't pay attention to people like this. We're not going to see them on the field of revolution, on the battlefield or for this revolution. We're not going to see them. Okay? They're going to be still in the back, armchair revolutionary talking. That's what they're going to be doing. Oh, guys, you guys should have did this. That's what he's going to be doing. He's not at all going to be there. So don't even
get America to agree with you if you actually want to get something done. And I agree, the blacks have went through major pains, and I understand why they would want a revolution, but there are certain things that you have to do if you actually want to get negotiations done, and the separations and the speculations and the separations and the dedications and the civilization. Oh shit! What these niggas?
All right, I think that brings us, because I'm looking through the comments. I'm not seeing many more new ones, so I think this is going to wind us down, Rome. So when is the new? When are you going to try to make it out there? Do you have a new date yet, or you just hold on?
I'm looking at the 5th. I'm looking at the 5th, so I'm trying to get out there soon.
Okay. You didn't give them airtime or any energy. Okay. All right. I was just trying to make sure I didn't miss any comments from anybody. I think that's going to be
just the one.
Oh, here's another one. Oh no, we'll see Vouch in the revolution on the other side. Yeah, he might be on the other side. He, because if it's a class war, he's not going to be on this side. Absolutely not. So thank you for that super chat. Let me make sure I didn't miss any other super chats here. Oh, that one just came in.
Mama, I said happy birthday.
Whose birthday? Oh, my mom?
No.
Whose mom?
Elijah.
Okay. All right. So Rome was looking at the 5th of April to be out there. I'll be back here tomorrow. I don't think I'm gonna be here Thursday, but I'll be here tomorrow covering something. Hopefully I won't have to cover this story. Hopefully there's no new comments because this all started from me updating you on the Brianna Joy Gray comment. That's how we got on this topic, and somehow we got all the way over here. But it is all good. All right, everybody, like this stream. We're trying to get to 15,000. We only need like 500 more. We got 1 week to get like 400 more subscribers. So please subscribe. If you're watching this, please subscribe. Please like this stream. It's the only way to make sure other people get it. It is simply as simple as that. It's people that, Ro, people told me that on the day of the third party summit that was the first time they ever even heard of it, and they follow me, they follow Ryan, and they follow somebody else. There was like Twitter is hiding this shit because I ain't ever. They only saw the video.
I'm telling you, though, it's sections of us in certain parts of the internet, bro. They try to keep us apart, especially when they broke up net neutrality. They really got a grip on the information that they wanted to spread. What the Patriot Act really wanted to do, I should say. What the Patriot Act really wanted to do was, be an all-out war on our information and, just our security altogether.
Yeah, so make sure you do that if you can. It looks like we got 360 likes now, so if you can get that to like 450, that's where I noticed where we have our most success in beating the algorithm, if we can at least get past that point. So we really appreciate it if you do like the stream. Always support us if you can on patreon.com. That's the best way to support RBN is through Patreon. Just look up Revolutionary Blackout. Next month, we're looking at the International Anti-Imperialist Summit in April. So we're looking forward to that. That's an international summit. We want to have people from China, people from Russia, people from, the global South, people from everywhere. We want to have the global community on board. So that is all I got today. 1 second, because I want to bring you. So Rome, at the end of every video, not the end. I used to do this at the beginning.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, I play. I try to play some, some historical videos for people to see. What was I on the stream with you when I was playing the George Carlin one and they stopped that shit? They just cut the stream.
No, that was Nick, but we was playing something else. We
it was another one we were playing.
It went through last time.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this one here. So let's take this one down, and then I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, and I'm gonna end the stream with this video from Tupac. Hopefully this one shouldn't get taken down, but we shall see. It shouldn't get, especially since it's at the end of the stream. So all right, so we're gonna I'm not coming back after the video. After the video, the stream will go dark or go offline. So everybody, see you tomorrow, same time.
That's good. I think they deserve it. But even if you earned it, you still owe. Because look at me, I don't have that mega money, but I feel guilty walking by somebody. I got to give them some mail. And if I know I got $3,000 in my pocket, I feel like it's wrong to give that person a quarter or $1. It's wrong. Only you know what you got in your pocket. And that's wrong. No matter what they do, if they take it and drink it, they take it and drink it. But I mean, you got. You understand? And we all know how hard it is, and it's not about if you good or you bad. So since it's not about if you good or you bad, we know that because he don't got don't mean he was bad. Or don't mean he's a criminal, or don't mean he's crazy or a drug addict, or none of that. It just means he don't got. And ain't it bad that you got 30? I mean, can you imagine somebody having $32 million? $32 million. And this person has nothing, and you can sleep. You can still go to the movies and then these are the type of people that get humanitarian awards. Millionaires. How can they be humanitarians? By the fact that they millionaires and there's so many poor people shows how unhumane they are. You know what I'm saying? And that bugs me. Not saying that when I'm never going to be rich and I'm never, you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying it's a struggle, and I think everybody deserves. And I think there's a way to pay these people. I think there is a way. It just takes to be revolutionary, and it takes to do something out of the ordinary. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that if we just said, okay, I got an idea. No more porno buildings. You know what I'm saying? Let's build houses. Or no more polo games. Let's build houses for poor people. You know what I'm saying? Or look, okay, I know you're rich. I know you got $40 billion, but can you just keep it to one house? You only need one house. And if you only got 2 kids, can you just keep it to 2 rooms? I mean, why have 52 rooms and you know there's somebody with no room? It just don't make sense to me. It don't. And then these people celebrate Christmas. They got big trees, huge trees, all the little trimmings. Everybody got gifts, and it's somebody starving. And they're having a white Christmas. They're having a great Christmas, eggnog and the whole nine. That's not fair to me.